How are you, Foyin?
David,
How
what woke me? I'm very well.
are you?
Hello, everyone. It's great to be here today. It's great to join us today. All right, so we'll get started. This class is for the beginners, right? You want to get started with Power Platform. You don't know what to do. You're hearing it for the first time, or you've been hearing about it, but you really don't know how to go around it. I'll be starting with Power Apps, and we'll just take the sessions going forward like that. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen now. 1 second. All right, so let's start. Um, Share. Okay, my name is Foyin Olajide, and I'm Microsoft Virtual, Microsoft MVP, right? I'm very passionate about the community. This is part of me. This is what I do. This is part of my life now. This is basically everything about me. Besides all the technical stuff, I'm a mother of 3 under 10. I'm also very excited about music, like my sister Jumoke, reading and traveling. And we've recently founded Textilers, which is a community for women, right? We thought it was important to have some place where we could encourage each other as women. Not to say, of course, that the men are not important. Most of my mentors in Power Platform are the men, right? But it's part of the women, we have a lot of things we're dealing with, right? So it's just a place to help each other and support each other as we start to learn in technology. Yes, I'm also one of the user group leads of the Power Platform in Nigeria and a member of the Dynamics Con advisory team. So what are we going to look at today, right? We're going to look at the Power Platform momentum. What are the current business challenges and how does all of this tie into Power Platform? I thought it was important to start with this because it helps you understand why you should learn how to use these tools, right? Because everybody wants to know, okay, I'm learning something. Why exactly am I learning it and what's in it for me? So that's what the beginning part will be about. Then I'm going to share my story. I'm going to highlight some amazing power charms across the world, and I'll also speak into my story, and then we go into the demo. So the momentum, right? This data is a bit old, right? This is like FY 2019, but it shows you how much and the kind of momentum that the Power Platform has had over the recent years. I think the oldest Power Platform tool is Power BI, and it's like 5 years old. But ever since then, it has just been ramping. Power Apps, Power Automate, Power Virtual Agents is the most recent tool that was introduced to the Power Platform, and we have over 2.5 million developers, using the Power Platform. So this ranges from seasoned developers to pro developers, and they're all using this tool to solve daily problem. Over 4 billion flows run each month. This data is amazing, and this is 2019 data. So you can start to imagine what the data for 2020 would look like. And this is used everywhere. So on the right, you see different companies that are currently using it. American Cross, Heathrow Airport, even the companies here. Almost all the banks are using one tool or the other in the Power Platform. So it's really a tool for now and the future. And it's something that if you get started with it, you would certainly not regret it. So what are the current challenges that we have, right? There's always the need to get data together. There's always the need to make decisions around it. People want to do things on the go and the mobile first, cloud first world. They want to do things on the fly from their mobile phones, from their tablets, right out of their PCs, not necessarily having to deal with hard copy documents anymore. However, creating an app for everything can be very expensive. So you want to bring in a pro developer to create an app for you. You start to wonder, the cost I'm going to spend bringing this person in and building this app, am I really going to get that value from creating this application? So these are the real questions that face the business and business users every day. So what now is transforming a business can be very challenging, right? Time to market. Time to market is a big challenge. Everybody wants it now, right? Nobody even wants to hold on the phone when you're talking to customer service. I'm sure you know what I mean. Like you call MTN or you call Glow customer service and you're singing the song in your ears and putting you on hold. You're like, give me my answer now. I don't have time. So that's in the world. That's the world where we live in now. We want instant answers, instant solution. We're in an instant world. So the time to market is one of the big challenges that businesses face, right? Because they need to get their solutions now out to their customers now. Otherwise, you lose the customer. You know, so paper processes, complex processes. How do they deal with all of this? Then aligning the business to business to IT alignments. It's important. So the business wants this. How does IT start to align with the goal and the vision of the business? You know, and then there's no insights. You want to make a decision. We want to open a new store in Kano. Why should we do that? Why not open another one in Lagos? Why go to Kano? We need insights. We need answers. We need to be able to know that this is why I'm making this decision and not just using our gut feelings to say, oh, there needs to be data to speak to it. So these are some of the challenges that businesses face. And guess what? If you don't have the data to make the right decision, you start to make wrong decisions, which can lead to loss for the business. So also, you know, total cost of ownership. I was speaking to someone, one of my friends, 2 weekends ago, and I was telling her, you know, we used to have servers, you know, and then there was so much to do. You want to put up a new application, you had to buy a server, wait for it to arrive, and then start to provision it. You had to maintain it, security patches, and all that. So the cost of ownership is high, and you have to have maybe 10 or 15 people to do that. So all of this has changed, special thanks to the future, which is now the cloud computing, cloud technology. Power Platform is helping us to bring answers to these problems. And Microsoft has seen into the future that all of these problems are now, and this is one of the ways that we can help to solve the problem. So Jumoke has, you know, spent a lot of time talking about the Power Platform, the stack, and what each of the elements mean. So this is just everything together, and this is how, you know, it all looks together. So my focus today is Powerapps. Now, what is Powerapps? Powerapps is a low-code, no-code tool that helps us to create mobile and web applications, right? You need to solve a problem, you need an application to do that for you. You can use Powerapps to do it. And one of the beautiful things about Powerapps is you really do not have to be a developer to know how to use it, right? Microsoft has given us this fancy PowerPoint slide interface, PowerPoint slide-like interface. Then we have expressions, that Excel-like expressions, and that's what we use to build the apps. Now, it's good for the guys that don't know how to code, and it's also fantastic for those that are pro developers. Like I have a friend who is a pro developer, and when he started using Powerapps, he basically said to me, Foyin, this is making my work a lot easier. Like I can finish things very quickly because I don't have to start from scratch. So that's one of the beauty of Powerapps. It transcends across everyone in technology. You don't know how to code, fine, you're welcome. You're a pro developer, 15, 20 years, fine, you're also welcome to use the tool. So that's one of the things that Powerapps does for us. Then, you know, we have what we call connectors, you know, in Powerapps, we have data sources. We'll look at all of those terms in a little while, but it helps you to create mobile applications. So you can get access to those applications from your phone or web-based application that is through the browser, whether browser on your phone or your tablet or your laptop, right? So some of the simple examples we have is like a leave app. We can have an attendance app. We can have a supply app, supply request app, you know, the list goes on and on. So I would say there are different types of variations of Powerapps, right? For the lack of any other word, I decided to use variations. We have what we call the Canvas app. So Canvas apps can come in two forms. You have the tablet layout, which is, you know, used for applications that will be opened more on maybe a wider screen, like your laptop. You know, if you have this kind of applications, you're best to use a tablet layout for it. Then we have the mobile layout. This is for applications that will be used mostly on mobile devices like phones and all. But that doesn't mean that if you create a mobile app, it won't work on a laptop. That's not the case. It will work, and you see that shortly in our demo. Then we have the model-driven applications. So this speaks to applications more of maybe you have a dynamics, you're using dynamic CRM, you want to create something custom, you want to customize a form there, you want to build an app there that speaks to it. That's mostly when you use the model-driven applications. And then we have the Powerapps Portals. So Powerapps Portals is used like a web interface, right? So you have vendors, you need to speak to vendors, you need to speak to your partners, and these people are not in your domain. So when I say domain, I just mean something simple like Foyin.com. So Foyin.com, it has an Office 365 tenant, but she has partners in XYZ Limited, in ABC, Sons, you know, and children. And I need to interact with those people. I need to know when they're happy, when they're not happy. I can use the Powerapps Portals for this. So my customers can come here and log their complaints. And the best part is that Powerapps Portal sits on Dataverse. Jumoke has explained that in her session. So if my customer makes a complaint, or my partner or my vendor makes a complaint through Powerapps Portal, that data is stored in Dataverse. And my dynamic CRM can pick information on that Dataverse, and we can start to make immediate actions within the organization. So that's how it kind of ties together. Please, if you have any questions, kindly drop it in the chat box. I'll take everything together after my session. AI, artificial intelligence, is one of the big parts of Powerapps. And we have different AI builders available, or models available in Power Platform. So right, there's the form processing. You know, form processing helps you to OCR physical, you know, OCR scanned copies. So if you have a scanned copy of a form, once you load up that form in Powerapps, you can already set the coordinates. So it automatically picks, oh, this is where the date is, this is where the total cost is, this is where the name of the customer is. Once you scan, it picks all that data immediately, and you just click on save. It stores it in your database, whether it's SharePoint, or whether it's Dataverse, or whether it's Excel. So that way you are saving a lot of time on the manual entries. Now we have object detection. Use object detection, you train your model, is able to know that, oh yes, this is an hibiscus flower, this is a bicycle, this is 10 bottles of Coke, you know. Then we have predictive analysis, you know. We have the sentiment analyzer also as a part of the AI, where a customer is saying something in an email, not what you have them keywords. So the customer says, I'm very unhappy because I tried to reach your customer care and they kept me on hold for 5 hours. So when you use sentiment analysis, it's able to pick out those keywords, and once it sees unhappy, it knows that yes, this is somebody making a complaint, and can automatically trigger an email to the customer service, you know, and say, this person, you have a complaint from this customer, I need to treat this. So these are amazing AI features that are available in Powerapps. All right, so what are the common terms? When you are using Powerapps, there are things that people say a lot, and you need to know what these terms mean as a beginner. We have data source. People use data source a lot. You know, even when you get into the app, you see data source, you need to understand what this means. It basically means where you're pulling data from, or where you're storing data into. Some of the common examples of data sources: Excel, which I don't encourage very much, but yes, Excel is one of the data sources. We have SharePoint list, and we have the Dataverse, which was previously known as the Common Data Service, and also SQL. So SQL on premise, SQL in Azure, SQL as a PaaS service in Azure. All of this can be used as your data source. And then we have connectors. Connectors are a big part of Powerapps, because it is what helps the application to speak to other applications, right? So for example, you want to, I know one of our speakers is going to talk about the geolocation app. You need to see that session shortly, so just stay on board. It's going to talk about geolocation app. So sometimes those kind of things are made possible through the connectors, right? So you need to know where people are at a certain time. You use the Bing Maps connector to do that. The Bing Maps connector is able to tell you where people are, because it taps into the user's coordinates on the phone and is able to pick that into your app. So those are real situations of where you use the connectors. Even speaking to your data sources, you need connectors to do that. Connectors to speak to Excel, to SharePoint, to the CDS, Dataverse, sorry, and all of that. So that's what connectors is used for. All right, so Power Charms. Really, I don't like to do any presentation without highlighting the fact that we have amazing people everywhere that are driving change, right? This people you see on the screen, it has grown a lot since this, since this was taken, but they are the people that are driving change in their organization. They see a problem, they solve it, and they go ahead to start to teach other people in the organization how to start to solve their own problems, and that's what makes them amazing. Samit, for example, used to be a security officer at Heathrow Airport, and he saw a problem. They always spend so much time on paper, trying to look into the language book to find out what it is and what it's not that people need to carry on board, and they always go about these physical manuals. And what he did was he discovered that this is a problem. How can I solve it? And when he went home at night, he looked at the blog, discovered there's something called Powerapps, started to use it, and boom, he created an application to solve problems. And that drastically changed the operations at Heathrow Airport. And he immediately moved from being a security guard to an IT adoption specialist. So that's one of the things that our platform can do for you. Sorry, one second. All right, so yes, so moving forward, all of these stories, I mean, Keith right here is my complete mentor. He helped out when we're trying to start the community. This is what you need to do. Drastic, fantastic person, has done fantastic things. So why am I showing you this? I want you to know that you can also be a change agent anywhere you are, right? Even if you're still in school, the journey starts now. And I'm going to move into telling you about my story. And the purpose of doing this is to inspire someone out there, right? I'm a woman and I'm here today. And it doesn't really matter what gender you are, right? If you're a lady out there and you feel, oh, because I'm a lady, I can't do tech stuff. If your passion is in technology, please chase it, right? How did I start? Like Chineye said, for those of us that came in early, I started with infographics straight out of school, little or zero knowledge about technology. But I was fortunate to end in an organization that was willing to support, right? To support, that believed in the potential of people. And I got there, I was believed in. I had a boss called Yemi. She said she can do it. And I, put my best into it, and I was able to start my career journey from there. And up until now, it has been a fantastic experience. I also would want to commend Sheyi a lot, because in March 2019, Sheyi invited me to come and speak, at one of the community events. That was literally my first speaking engagement in Nigeria. And of course, like he said, I was like, what am I going to talk about? Am I sure? Even if this was even local audience, but I had the cold feet. But guess what? I went there and I spoke, and that was how my community journey started. And I discovered that this is something I'm actually very passionate about, something I've actually always wanted to do. And that was the platform and the premise on which I started it. Now, we may not all be opportune to join an infographics that would take you in whether you have zero knowledge or not. But you have the opportunity today, which is opportunity that Global Power Platform is giving you. The community at that time, this was 12 years ago, there was nothing like community in Nigeria. But now you have community, you have fantastic professionals who are saying, I can support you, I'm willing to do this. I've logged in several times with people to support. We've had community members drive down to other people's office to help them solve an issue. I already gave an example of how people would call him randomly and just say, oh, I'm your community member, I need help. And he would jump on a team session to help that person. That's what the community gives to you. And that's why you need to stay connected to the community so that you can learn, you can grow, and you can also get to have a support system of people that can help you you know, and you can also become a change agent. So I learned how to use Powerapps, you know, from a friend who just introduced me to it. And I discovered that as I was learning that this thing, you cannot be on your own to learn it, right? There's a lot to know, and it's easier. I spent 2 hours on Google search to find an answer, and I spent 5 minutes with a friend, right? And Tunde is also a very good friend of mine. I don't even know if he's on the session today. He's also a good friend of mine who has started out the journey early, and he supports. If you are stuck and give him a shout out, he helps you and he supports you, and he really been helpful. So what's important is let's keep this going. I learn, I support the next person learns and support the next person, and that way we are all uplifting each other. You are not growing alone. Everyone is growing, and we're all growing together. And the sky is big enough for everybody to fly, so it doesn't matter whether I know it and you know it. It makes the party nicer. So please stay connected to the community. For the ladies, there's textilers. David will share the link later on. If you want to join the women community, please join us. All right, enough talks. Let's go into our demo on Powerapps. Okay, so I'm just going to jump now to my screen. How do I get started? The first thing you need is an account. You need an Office 365 account. So if you do not have an account, you need to sign up for a developer account. If you have a friend who has a developer account, the friend can also create you on, because developer accounts gives up to 25 people. So we all don't need to actually be creating accounts. If you know someone that has a developer account, just say, guy, please, I need an account, or babe, I need access. Please create me as a user on your account, and you get access to a dev account that way. Then for this demo, I'm going to show us how to create Powerapps using a SharePoint list as your data source. I like SharePoint list because it's not too technical for beginners to understand, like maybe the CDS or Dataverse or SQL, You can be a user and create a SharePoint list, right? It's not rocket science. So I'll be starting from a SharePoint list. So let's assume that you don't even have a SharePoint site up. You come here, create a site very quickly. I want to create a team site and call it Global Power Platform Bootcamp Demo. Every other thing is fine. Next. I don't need additional owners for now. Finish. And my site is up. That's it. Very simple. So what's the first thing we want to do? We want to create a list. Create a list. And here I want to create a blank list. Now, let's assume that you've been working with Excel. So I'll give you an example. You have a list of all your vendors, or you have a list of all your students, if it's in the case of a school, and that list is already populated. So you're saying, okay, I want to create an app now where people can go to and submit the names of maybe their vendors, that's people that sell to you. I want everybody across my organization to have a place where they can submit. I'm tired of them sending me Excel sheets to do this. Everybody should go to the app and go and submit their entry. But I already have an Excel sheet of 200 columns. How am I going to get that into my SharePoint list? You just create from Excel. That's not a big deal. So I'll start from blank, and I'll call this my attendance app. So this is fine. Create. So this automatically creates a blank SharePoint list for you. We just title. So yes, attendance app. I can come here and say, okay, what do I want to get from my attendance? I like to get the person's departments. So I'll come here and pick choice. So I'll say departments. Let's call this HR. Just something simple everyone can relate to. Technology. And we call this procurement. Okay, that's fine. Let's click on save. What else? I want to know when the person got in. When did you get in? So I'll pick date and time. I can say time in. Date and time is selected already. Save. What else do I want to know? I want to know the feedback. How was the session? So I come here, multiple line of text, and say comments. Okay, save. All right, done. The person's name. I'm going to rename title as the person's name. So another way of doing it, of creating your columns, is coming here, going to list settings. You can come down here, select title. This was the old way. For those of us that have been using SharePoint a long time, this was the old way we had to use to create our columns till the new experience came out. So save this. And this is a required field, by the way, so everybody needs to, yes. Okay. Another thing I think I want to capture in my app is the person's manager. So I come here, I pick person. Person is important because it predicts the name according to your Active Directory. All right, so manager. Okay, we're good. All of this is done. Very simple. Power Apps. Click on it, create an app. And this is my attendance app. I literally finished this in 10 minutes. Oh, I already have an attendance app. Attendance. So let me say training attendance app. Create. So this launches Power Apps and also creates the application for me with the mobile experience. So you get that by default. So while this is loading up, moderator, how am I doing for time? I'm not sure when exactly I was supposed to stop. Can you help me? Let me see. Sorry. Okay. This was what, 15 minutes. Okay, so my time is almost up. So once this is done, your app is created, and that's it. So let's wait for it, Okay, it's here. So play. Let's test our application very quickly. Create new. What's my name? My name is Foyin. What department am I in? Technology. When did I come in? Pick this and say, okay, I was in at these days. Great session. Who's my manager? I have a Jumoke on my, any attachments can be added here, and I submit. And that's it. So we come here to refresh and we see that our entry has been submitted successfully. Okay, let me just double check my time if I have any other additional time to show us some cool things. I need, please help me.
Hello.
When am I supposed to stop? Is my time up? Sorry,
yeah,
I have only...
You have 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Okay, fantastic. So I can wrap up in the 2 minutes. So this is how you create your app. Additional things you can do to it. You can add a home screen, you know, here, put an image on it, add a success screen so that every time they submit the app, it tells them it was successfully submitted, and a lot of other amazing things can be done. So do I have any questions in the 2 minutes? We have our Power Naija series, which is going to start soon. You will see everything up, so you can learn more about Power Apps and all in our weekly series. So let me check my chat window, see if I have any questions. Do I have any questions?
One question.
Okay,
one question. What is the first step to create a website? How can I do this? Thanks.
Websites? David, help me. Websites?
Yeah.
Or Power
Yes,
Apps?
the person said web. I guess maybe the person is talking about apps. Okay,
so to create an app, that's what we just showed now. You have to have an Office 365 tenant, you know, and then from there you can start from your SharePoint list, or you can start from scratch, and you can also explore the templates. So this is the Powerapps interface. Office 365, just click on Powerapps, it brings you here. You can start from your data source, which was what we did. We started from SharePoint. You can start from scratch. You can also look at the templates, loads of amazing templates here. And that's a good way to learn. Start with the template and work backwards. You will see how it was created, the functions behind the buttons, how they did the look and feel, and you can start to learn from there. All right. In the absence of any other questions, thank you so much for joining. 2021 Global Power Platform Bootcamp. Please stay connected. Don't go away yet. We have super speakers coming up. Thank you, David. Back to